Hello, welcome to the Trews. I'm Russell Brand. I'm the presenter of it. I got the job through merit. Let's have a look at this thing on Fox.
Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters is a Fox News strategic analyst and with me now. Ralph, good to see you tonight. And so the president saying they are going to face further isolation if they continue to behave badly.
He's talking, of course, about the potential of American sanctions on Russia. It's a complex situation, obviously, because of the economic relationships between Russia and the rest of the world, Russia's military power and natural resources, America's declining power.
Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, Megan, sometimes I feel like Charlie Brown.
It's a weird thing to say, isn't it? That early in a news report. Because we need someone who doesn't feel like a cartoon character, because this is the news.
Trying to kick the football, and it's always pulled away from him. Every time I hear our president is going to make new remarks about Putin, Crimea, remember that? Ukraine, now this air disaster, I keep hoping that this will be the time when he will man up, when he will take a stand, when he will represent America and recognize our goodness and the evil, the true evil that Vladimir Putin is.
Some complicated ideas here. Firstly, he wants Barack Obama to act a bit more hard, isn't it? That's the main thing. He wants to be like Rocky or something. Then, like that Vladimir Putin is evil, and that evil may one day be inflicted on America. So, firstly, I don't think there is such a thing as evil. Second, I mean, it's certainly not in such simplistic terms of that a person is evil. It seems that it's more nebulous than that. Oh, this person's done something a bit wrong. You know, as the Russian writer Solzhenitsyn said, the line between good and evil doesn't run between nations or religions, but through every human heart. So, some people, you know, it was too reductive. And then what was the other thing that he said that was a bit mad? Oh yeah, then he tried to imply that that threat will escalate. They were really fear-based information. Fear-based.
Putin's a leader. Obama's a lawyer. Putin, he wants to dominate. Obama wants to negotiate. Putin's rearming, Obama's disarming. But as you and I have discussed before, the fundamental difference here is that Putin believes in his country and its destiny, and President Obama does not believe in American greatness and our destiny.
I'm going around believing in things. It's a really odd way to approach reality. Shouldn't the way we approach, you know, say there's this thing where, I don't know whether it's Russian separatists or whoever it was that shot down that plane, and sort of acrimony, antipathy and conflicts in a region. We've got to deal with the pragmatics of the problem and look for a practical solution. You can't sort of bring in some weird belief system. It's like, well, look, this conflict is happening, how are we going to resolve it? Don't bring to that your imagination. I like to imagine America means this. Well, I imagine Russia means this. It's not going to solve anything.
There is a vacuum of leadership in the free world that is indescribably, incalculably dangerous.
How do you get to that point, though? Because President Obama is in this position where he knows if he talks tough, he's going to have to follow through, right? He talked tough in Syria, he didn't follow through, and that cost him a lot of credibility, according to most pundits.
Well, it's going to cost him more credibility if he does follow through. Once I followed through, by mistake, at a business meeting, and I was Charlie Brown pants that day.
So he goes out there today. If he's not prepared to go engage militarily against Russia,
They're trying to have a war or something. Stop trying to have a war all the time.
he's got to say what he said today.
Our president has a range of things he could do. First of all, he could impose serious sanctions, which we have not done. They've been cosmetic to date.
Sanctions? I don't know what they're meant to be. Sanctions, breakdown of trade agreements. They're the bloody problem in the first place. If you have a world that's built upon trade relationships and we sell this amount of armaments to Russia and we buy this amount of shale gas or whatever kind of gas from Russia, then when real stuff starts happening, you can't resolve it properly, whether it's in the Middle East or in Russia, because the relationships are based on trade, and the trade is based on corporate will instead of the needs of people. So the needs of the people become secondary, and all these bloody disputes escalate to the point where planes are getting shot out of the sky, basically because we're all living in an imaginary economic reality.
He could boldly and visibly provide weaponry and training to Ukraine. He could station U.S. forces in Poland.
That is a really bad idea, that. Like that starts all of these wars. He should start training and arming Ukrainians. This problem, as I think we've discussed before, was exacerbated because when the Ukraine left the Soviet Union, promises were made that they wouldn't be allowed to join NATO. NATO's like a military alliance. The agreements were made. Gorbachev went, all right, we'll break down the Soviet Union, we'll end the Cold War, but could you do us a favour? Don't sign up, don't start impeaching on our borders, will you? And the American government told them, we won't do that. And then they did do that. These problems have history.
He could reinvigorate, revive the anti-missile system we were going to stage in Eastern Europe before Obama killed it. I mean, there are really many things he could do.
Also, if you're using the language of sanctions, then how can you possibly not have sanctions against Israel with what's going on in Palestine? So it's such a confusing, complex world. The answer to all of it is economic alliances and trade agreements are dominating the reality of people on this planet, causing death and destruction. Till we cohesively come together as a unified spiritual presence, we're going to be in terrible trouble.
It must be, you know, even though he's president of the United States, to me it would be a hellish thing to live with such timidity, to be such a frightened man. I really feel that on a visceral level, on a profound level, President Obama is scared of Vladimir Putin.
Is Vladimir Putin out there? No, he's still in Russia. Oh, thank God. He scares the shit out of me. Fox, you're fortifying meaningless fake narratives that lead to arguments. That is some Trews. That is some Trews today.
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the nose. If the nose was true, I want some Trews. Let's have some Trews.